This is Lamzu Atlantis Mini, which, as the name suggests, is a smaller version of a very popular Lamzu Atlantis. Today we are going to have a look at the specs and differences between the Mini and regular version, as well as Viper Signature Edition, to see if the $90 mouse can compete with a $300 device. First, let's have a look at what's inside of the box. And I've got to say, Lamzu has one of the coolest packagings out there. The box opens up like a book with two compartments. In one you will find a bag with additional set of skates, grip tape, a manual and an extender with a charging cable. The package is rather rich, especially when you take into consideration the price of the mouse. Sometimes manufacturers give you less while charging more. Now the specs. The mouse is very light at just 49 grams, at least that's what Lamzu claims it should weigh. My unit was slightly heavier at just over 50 grams. 1 gram is not a big deal and will not make a meaningful impact during everyday use as well as competitive gaming sessions. By comparison, the OG Atlantis weighs 55 grams. It's also very well balanced, with the sensor being placed just slightly more towards the front of the mouse. The mouse has 170mm in length, which is 6mm less than the non-mini version. It's 1mm lower and has 63mm in width at the back instead of 66. It uses exactly the same sensor as the original Atlantis, which is the PAW3395, very good, reliable and accurate sensor. It supports up to 26,000 dpi and comes with 5 predefined settings: 400, 800, 1600, 3200 and 6400. If you want to change them, you will need to download Lamzu software and make the changes there. The Mini uses different encoder, silver TTC instead of gold, but the mouse buttons remain unchanged. It's still Huano blue shell, pink dotted. This is good news, as I have really enjoyed the click feel and sound profile of the ones used with the original Atlantis. The buttons have almost no pre-travel and very little post-travel and can be used to spam click easily. The resistance of the mouse buttons is on the lighter side. They require very little force to press, so you need to be mindful when resting your fingers on them, as it is possible to unintentionally press them. The scroll wheel is okay, not too light and not too hard to scroll and press. The scrolling sound I'm not a fan of. It's not smooth and a bit scratchy. The steps are clearly pronounced. The pressing sound, however, is very pleasant. The side buttons are great, top tier even. They have almost no pre-travel and very little post-travel when you press them. Much better than some other more expensive mice. I also really like the sound profile of the sound buttons, which is similar to the one of the main buttons, same as with Atlantis OG. It's also very easy to press them, as they're not hidden inside of the mouse case and stick just the right amount, and my thumb has no issue reaching them. Let's do a quick sound test. The coating on the mouse is excellent as well. It has enough grippiness, even when your hands get a bit sweaty from all the tryharding, and if that's not enough, the box includes a set of grip tapes to help you out with that. I also really like the tone of the white used in the coating. Like I mentioned in my unboxing video, it's not a bluish cold white color, rather it's a creamy warm white and it looks absolutely great. The bottom of the mouse is exactly the same design as its bigger brother, but this time the cutouts differ a bit. The biggest difference you'll notice is the shape and size of the mouse feet. Original Atlantis had gliders which covered the whole front and the back of the mouse, while Mini has it separated into 4 pieces. And here's where I found one thing I don't really like about the Mini, and it's the gliding. The original one I had no issues with, but the Mini feels a bit scratchy and I can definitely feel more resistance while using the same mousepad. Of course, it might be the fact that the original Atlantis had its gliders already break in and they're much smoother to work with, but I still think it's something worth mentioning. And if you already have a Lamzu Mini, I would really appreciate if you could comment down below on your experience with the mouse. Overall, the build quality is very good. The mouse doesn't feel cheap, is solid and has no creaking even when pressing it harder than you will in everyday use. While using the mouse, I noticed that my natural way of grabbing it is a hybrid fingertip claw grip, where I only touch the mouse with just right side of my right hand, just under the small finger. I think this is because of the mouse is more wide top than, for example, the Viper Mini has. The Viper's top is much more curvy, so while holding the mouse with a fingertip grip, the rest of the hand doesn't touch the mouse. Of course, it's not an issue, and if you have bigger hands than mine, which are 8 cm in width and 18 cm in length, measured from the middle finger, you will find it very comfortable for fingertip grip. If, on the other hand, pun intended, they're smaller, I think this will be the perfect choice for claw grip. I personally prefer the shape of the Viper Mini, as recently I have been leaning towards fingertip grip, as it's less fatiguing for my hands and longer gaming sessions. Performance in games with Atlantis Mini is very good. I find it very similar to the original Atlantis with the way I use it and hold it, so the muscle memory was still there. I had no issues adjusting to using it even after maining the Viper Mini for the last couple of weeks. I really did enjoy the light feel of the switches and the overall mouse shape. It will probably not become my main, but if I didn't have the Viper Mini, I think it would become my choice for everyday use. Like I said before, the Viper's size and shape just better fits my grip style. When compared to Lamzu OG for my hands, the hybrid claw grip works really well while aiming, providing good support for the back of your hand. It's just not as relaxed, I would say, as with the OG version, which basically supports the whole bottom part of your palm. The difference is noticeable while gaming, as with the Mini, more of your palm touches the mousepad. At this moment there's 3 versions available. The one I have here is the original Mini, but if you'd prefer a more modern version with up to 4K Hz polling rate, you can either get the Pro version, which requires you to purchase a dedicated dongle, or just get the 4K version, which has the dongle included out of the box. I leave a dedicated links to all of the versions down in the video description. Overall, I think the Mini is a great, smaller alternative to Atlantis OG, which will be a great choice for anyone looking for a very light, sub 50 gram mouse. Everything is here, the switches, the performance, the clicks and feel, and for the price point I think we can all ignore minor drawbacks like inconsistency in weight and very minor issues with the gliders. It's also great that Lamzu decided to upgrade it with a new 4K Hz connectivity for those of us looking for the absolute best in mice. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Laser and I'll see you in the next one.